the Man Cave. Ron Servan checking in. We are once again extremely honored to have, first of all, a fellow friend, first and foremost, but also just an amazing coach and woman in this world that I've had the pleasure, as well as Cedric's had the pleasure of meeting at a live event. But obviously, Ron Servan checking in here from the Man Kave Experience. We've done some of these shows on the weekend, which kind of lends itself to a little bit different experience for us, for Cedric and I, when we kind of sit down and put this out there, because we're not coming necessarily home from a busy day, or other thoughts that sometimes at least kind of reach into our conversation, not in a bad way, but just kind of coming from a different place. So once again, we're here on the weekend, enjoying here in Southern California some awesome weather. As always, I've got my main man, Ced, who's got a little bit different look today, a little purple, little killer sunglasses on, little extreme background. So Ced, how's things going? Check in with us and let us know what's going on with you.
Man, pretty good, man. Everything going good. I got the lake behind me, man, at the coffee shop, hanging out. Hey, it's just all good, bro. I'm in a zen place right now, y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us again every week. Man, Angela, thank you for joining us on the show. Hey, I don't know if you even remember, Angela, you were one of the first ones that actually heard my full story, and I appreciate you being there that night. I really do.
I was so glad to have been there. It was an awesome, awesome night, forever in my mind and heart.
Nice.
Yeah, first time I cried in front of a whole group of people, too.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Heals the soul.
Yeah, I was just going to say soul cleaning. Soul cleaning.
Love it. So Angela Forth is here with us. Again, she's just been an amazing person that we've been able to experience from afar, from what she's doing in her amazing life, and in person, just kind of the energy that she exudes on a regular basis is just fantastic. So without further ado, I'm going to give Angela a few minutes to kind of check in, and then we'll introduce the topic. But just Angela, a little bit about yourself, kind of why you're here in the Man Cave, and just the type of people you're reaching out to touch their hearts and create better experiences for them in their lives.
Well, I mean, just a lovely introduction. Thank you so much, guys. The feelings are likewise. I have absolutely loved the short, concentrated time that I've had with y'all, at a couple of live events with fellow coaches. So I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to, share some wisdom, I guess, or whatever that might be with others. But I guess to try to explain, what it is that I do, it kind of depends on the day, to be quite honest, because I became a certified health and life coach, a health coach almost 2 years ago, or actually, almost 2 years ago, and life coach certification. And then this journey led me to also becoming certified as a mother-daughter coach. So I like to kind of focus on family dynamic. So that could be like family relationships coach, along those lines, because I feel like for women, for all of us, but for women especially mothers, to rid ourselves of shame, because that is the core reason, that just, it makes us feel terrible. I mean, to be quite honest, like we don't feel like we're worth anything, that we're never enough, and all those things. And it really prevents us from flourishing and living a life that we truly want. And so that's where that piece comes in, the mother-daughter piece, so that mothers can learn how to be human and love themselves, and then they can teach their children in return to stop passing down generations of shame unintentionally, right? It's never our intention to pass down shame to our children, but it absolutely happens.
Yeah.
And then kind of took a different turn, because the universe placed on me, or God, or whatever you resonate with, lumps in my breasts. Back in June, we discovered that I had small mobile lumps in my breasts and also cysts in my ovaries. And I was advised to do surgery and that route. And in my part of me, it was like, no, I don't need surgery. I didn't feel like it was along the lines of cancer or needed that type of treatment. And so I followed my gut, my intuition, and I sought out a naturopath doctor alongside my OBGYN. You know, I remained in contact, obviously, with both. And I decided to go for the nutrition route to heal my body. And I healed my body in 6 months by going all organic, no longer drinking alcohol. I used to drink alcohol every day because I kind of thought, hey, you know, it's normal to drink alcohol all the time in society. And I was just kind of going along with all the other fish in the pond. And, but it's been the best thing for me to give that up. I also, like I said, eat all organic, and I am using supplementation through standard process. I might've lost y'all there at supplementation because, you know, there's a lot of hype. Do they work? Do they not? I can tell you that this company is a beautiful, beautiful company. It's all organic, whole food based supplements. And I can absolutely tell you that that completely was a big part of my being able to heal my body in 6 months. Huge part of it. Wow. To fill in all the gaps of deficiencies that we all actually have. So
I love that.
Yeah. So that's, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing.
I love that. And I know we were talking briefly before we got on here about the whole idea of what's normal. And, you know, kind of what Angela brought to a conversation previously was this story that she's gone through over the last 6 months. I've kind of, again, watched her journey from afar of just her struggles, her successes, all these things along the way. And kind of the topic we want to have an authentic conversation about today is just taking a more natural approach to life. And, you know, whether that you call that holistic or, you know, homeostasis or all these other terms that can bring you back to, you know, in time, you know, how man survived and lived their life, you know, way back when, before we had all these other outside influence, whether it be, you know, alcohol or just experiences that we have this, you know, day and age, all the way up until today, just technology and how we, you know, gravitate towards external stimulus to satisfy us internally. And it really kind of, for me, as I'm saying this and just kind of understanding my journey of, you know, playing, you know, small at times in my life and looking to other things to stimulate me that weren't natural. You know, I think we have that as an opportunity for all of us. I mean, I think it's not a matter of how old you are or what condition you're in. You know, what can you do as a human being to really go to the root of the problem, not, you know, take something or do something that's going to, you know, kind of remove the symptom, but what's the actual problem? You know, we're digging deeper, even in relationships and all these other things that we seem to try to push the easy button or not look at what's right in front of us to really be clear on what actions we need to take. So I love, Angela, the fact that you, through this process, have, you know, taken upon this role of sharing this journey, you know, for yourself, knowing that it's been, you know, frightening, knowing that it's not going to work, right? Knowing that, you know, although you're taking this alternate route of choice, you know, not knowing what the results might be, and having other medical professionals tell you, no, you need to go down this road because this is your best opportunity for success. So it's hard to sometimes navigate through life without really looking at, again, something that's right in front of you that you can try. Your eating habits, what you're putting in your body, even your thoughts, right? You know, how we mentally process things to move us through, you know, a challenging situation. So I'm interested, you know, if you were to, you know, kind of look back on, you know, kind of that turning point, you know, when you know, kind of took that scary step to, you know, kind of say yes to this direction you took. Is there something that resonates with you, or what that cornerstone was that you had to get around?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's like, I can look back and be like, wow, like to say no to a doctor is like, that's hard to do. Right. And so how did I get there? Well, I think it's just kind of been a part of my evolutionary process, because, you know, we all have programming, we all have childhoods, right? And we all have reasons why we're placed in families that we're placed in. And, you know, there's this quest of knowing who you are and all of these things, right? As far as the spiritual journey goes. And so there have been a couple times where I just didn't listen to myself. You know, like with big decisions, like big life-changing decisions, there had been times where I just didn't listen to myself and I went along with what everybody else would do. And so leading up to this discovery of the lumps in my breasts, for like 6 months, there was go to a naturopath, like coming into me, you know, a voice within me saying, go to a naturopath, see what your hormones are doing. You know, you're 39 years old. Why don't you see what your hormones are doing? You know, you're depressed, you're anxious, like you're off here. You've had a child within the last few years. We get it, Angela, but let's really see what's going on, you know? And so I just didn't listen to that. And then by the time June came, and discovered the lumps, I was just an anxious mess. Like, I mean, I was just, bless my heart. Like, I mean, I was just a wreck. Yeah. And finally I was like, a friend said, here is a number to a naturopath that my mom goes to. And she had already been recommended before from another friend a while ago before all this happened. And I said, okay, universe, angels, God, I hear you. I'm going to call her, you know? And so, I went and had a mammogram because I was recommended to do that. I wish that there was a better way for women to have these types of tests done, to be quite honest with you, because, mammograms do expose us to radiation, which is also a cause of cancer. And I'm only sharing this just because I know this information. It's not to make people upset or any type of controversy. It's literally just to provide you with information for anyone who's listening. And so there actually is a better way, which I'm going to start doing, is thermography, which is body heat scan. And you can actually see inflammation in your body through body heat well before cancer even develops. So this is a wonderful tool for people to know about if y'all have never heard of it. And your listeners can know about it too, because it's incredible. Like, it finds cancer well before it even has a possibility to develop.
Wow.
So yeah, I had the mammogram and stuff, had an ultrasound, everything came back normal, but I was still recommended to go to a surgeon. And I was just like, I don't understand. This is very confusing to me. This doesn't feel good in my body the way that, you know, my instincts were just saying, this feels weird. This feels really weird, you know? And so I just called a naturopath, got on the schedule. I was ready to quit drinking. I was ready to give it up. Like, I was ready to do whatever I needed to do, because I had already been on an elimination type diet for a couple of years at this point, you know, weight loss and stuff like that. And it just clicked. And I just looked at my doctor and said, no, like, I'm not going to go see a surgeon right now. My mammogram is not indicating that there is anything wrong with me. I know that you can feel these very small mobile lumps in my breasts. I get it, but I want to try all organic supplementation through an awesome company and no longer drinking. And I said, and to her, I said, I also want women to have a better experience in this whole breast cancer thing. It's scary. It is scary for us. It's not a supportive process at all.
And I know, Stead, you've got lots to ask you, but I just want a couple quick points. One, first of all, I know you, Angela, well enough to know your positive attitude, I'm sure, had a huge impact on, you know, the cells in your body listening into these thoughts and feelings and energies that you put out in the universe. So I applaud you, and you, the listener, know that that's part of what I would encourage you also to do. But, you know, when you're saying this, I'm just thinking about men, right? I'm thinking about how, at least a lot of men that I know, they won't even go in and get, you know, do a test to find out something that they know that they may possibly be prone to or be subject to. So, you know, a lot of men won't even think about, you know, nonetheless do something holistic. So it's just interesting. And I'm sure there's lots of men out there that are, you know, kind of moving in that direction to look at options in their life. But I'm just, kind of now in my mind thinking of some men that I know that won't even go and get a, colonoscopy, or won't even go and get something as a preventative measure to, prevent something from happening. So, I think it's just interesting. It was just kind of a thought that came in I thought was helpful. But I know, Sed, you got some things to talk about here. So,
Yeah, because I kind of, and but I'm listening to you talk, Angela, because you know the story. I had a health scare too, and man, that can bring up so much fear. You hear the C word, and you automatically think the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if with your heart, you hear aneurysm, you're like, oh my God, I'm dying in the next hour or so, right? It's just what we do, and we have this programming. But I'm interested to know, like, what did you do to manage that stress? Like when it hit and all of those thoughts coming in, oh my God, I got my little one, I got my husband, like, am I going to survive? Like, oh my God. Like, how did you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I went through all the motions. I'm going to be honest. I mean, like, it was interesting because, I don't know if it was cancer or not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Okay. Like, and I am not going to know. Okay. What I do know is that, what we put in our mouths is the most important. That's our prevention. That's the only prevention that we need in this world. Okay. But yes, like, if I was finding myself there in that place, like, do I have cancer? Like, am I going to die? Is this it? Like, and I was there for a lot of the time. And there were some days where I was there way more than I wanted to be. And my husband looked at me and he goes, like, it was the week right before I was getting ready to find out if the lumps were still there. It was literally a couple of weeks ago. And I was just stressed to all get out. Like, I was bawling to my naturopath doctor, freaking out. Like, what if the lumps are still there? Like, what if what I've been doing hasn't worked at all? Like, what if, like, what if I do really end up with cancer? Like, what if I have to, do more things or whatever? I was there, and it is so uncomfortable. But I will tell you, I was on about 5 supplements for my nervous system. So there's that. Like, I was like, my naturopath was like, okay, you need this, you need this, you need it. And I was like, bring whatever you got, honey. Bring out the arsenal, because I am a wreck, Mm-hmm. So, but my husband, he was like, Angela, you've been living as if you have cancer. And I go, you're right. And I just was like, wow. And so, I know that there's going to be a lesson that reveals itself, an even bigger lesson for why I went through that time, because, I wasn't advertising it like, out on Facebook or Instagram or, because I was scared. I was scared, and, I have 2 boys, and it's like, wow. But I was just kind of going through all these motions. And so when I would be there, I would allow myself to be there. And then I would say, how is this serving me right now? If I choose to think about an ending, or if it's cancer, or if all this that I'm doing, all these changes that I've made are not worth it, how is that helping me right now? And then I could just be like, okay, if I choose to think about this, then I'm going to feel depressed and anxious and sad and confused. And so I focused on the fact that I get to put these foods in my body, that I know how to prepare these foods because of my culinary school education, that I have the means to buy these supplements, and that I am doing everything that I can possible. And I am following the guidance of my naturopath doctor, like to the T, all in, all in. And I'm just going to trust the process. And that's how I got through it. Because no, I didn't know if it would work. I've never done this before. I've never done chemotherapy. I've never done radiation. I've never done any of those before. So it would have been the same. It would have been the same feelings either way. But I was relying on my determination and tenacity to be the leader. Not anybody else's, not fear of what the doctors, what they know, what they don't know. Doctors are great. That's not what this is about. But I just feel like in certain scenarios with certain people that we need to be empowered and we need to be able to take control of our health alongside Western medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's how I got through it. I know that was a long answer, but it was a very, very scary and rough time. For me, very uncomfortable.
So I know when we spoke, Angela, before we got on the call here, we were just talking about how, at times society makes things like it's the norm or it's just, the natural thing to do. And I think, just that whole topic of being natural is just something, as I'm sitting here, just, becoming more aware of what that means or doesn't mean. It's kind of like thoughts. We can think that we just naturally have these thoughts versus, do we have the ability to create our own thoughts?
Yeah, we do. We damn sure do.
And then with the food we put in our mouth, or we naturally gravitate towards this. So it's like questioning everything in our life when we go to the default thinking this is just the natural thing to do. And Seth and I talk about this, the phrase, this is it, or, it's like, really? I mean, who's defining that this is it? Are you just kind of taking the easy way out, or is that what you were told? Or is that, been your only willingness to try something that feels comfortable to you versus that uncomfortable part of doing something that feels unnatural and making that then the natural thing for you to integrate into your life? So it's, so many things that it's what we put in our body, what energies we allow to penetrate into our own existence, how we communicate and effectively live our lives, and just how we can question all those things that we just by default again, and I'm push the easy button, or that unconscious button to take actions or not take actions in our life. So I'm just very inspired because I was today. So I've dealt with, and Cedric's aware of, just having chronic neck issues and headaches and things like that. So I've been the one that's been more taking the Aleve, taking the Advil, but doing a lot of things that I'm trying to really understand where the pain is coming from. Doing acupuncture, all these other holistic things. But today, one of the things that I've had on my bucket list for a long time is getting into yoga, because I'm a daily meditator, and that's been part of my life for 8 years now. But never committing to something that I know is something that's so important for me to connect to. So today I went with my wife, and I was there for 45 minutes, and just in that short period of time, I was able to kind of connect to that energy that felt like it was connected to the pain and other things that I've been experiencing. So I'm like, wow, here I am, kind of looking at just, kind of natural to have this pain and trying to deal with it in certain ways, but something that's been right in front of me for all these years that I haven't been willing to commit to for whatever reason. Now I engaged in it, and I quickly felt results from it, at a subtle level, but just knowing that that's possible. So I just wanted to share that, just knowing today as we speak here, the natural thing to do in our life, what we put in our mouth, thoughts, all these things, question them, be willing to just take that step back. And we learn that through coaching, just taking that step back and looking at things differently. What possibilities are out there for you, the listener. You think that, this is your only choice. I mean, you have choices out there that you can create.
Totally. And I'll just make one suggestion for you without being asked, but you should totally get turmeric in your life ASAP.
I have
Natural.
actually have been taking turmeric, so yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yep.
I'm good.
Man, it's crazy, like how you were talking about, you know, what we accept as normal and all of that. And I'm not gonna lie, I know I took the hard way. I'm like, damn, I wish I'd have had somebody like that in my life, you know, prior to my finding out I had her. I probably could have healed the aneurysm. Who knows? But it's, you know, and even coming out, you know, the hard path for me was like, I wasn't, my mind wasn't thinking, oh, is this normal or is it not? It was just like, shit, I gotta change or I'm gonna die, you know, type thing. And I kind of just figured out, you know, just eating cleaner and just really thinking cleaner too. And just how I treated, like the whole gambit just made everything better to the point. And it was a little scary. I was like, well, man, you know, I'm in this health coaching thing. Let me just kind of try it out. But the doctor said I'm supposed to take this blood pressure medicine for the rest of my life, like, or I'll be back, you know. And I'm like, it was real scary to wean yourself off of it. You're like, oh God, here's the symptoms. And, but it's interesting, like how I never thought that the foods that I were eating up to that point weren't normal, or normal or not normal. You know, it never crossed my mind. And I was like, wow, how many people out there just think, you know, and if you're from the South, you know, the deep South, hey, fried chicken is normal, you know, on a Sunday dinner. The cornbread, that's normal. You know, and we think, oh, well, healthy and clean eating, that's not normal. That's what the weirdos do, right? But it was just that now it's just as normal as the fried chicken, you know. And it's crazy, like once we slow down and we really put things into perspective, how our normal can easily be changed. You know, it's, wow, man, God damn it, I wish I'd have had somebody like you a couple years ago.
Well, I mean, right. But like, I wouldn't have been able to help you a couple years ago because I wouldn't be here, you know, like I wouldn't have gone through what I've gone through. And, you know, like just. Heck, it's just people join me, you know, like because I am in the South, and fried chicken and coleslaw and baked beans and potato salad, mac and cheese, they are on the menus. Okay. Soda on the side, like bring it on. And we definitely have some pies and cookies and cakes. And I'm like, you guys, like, hold up a minute. Like, and so, but it's like, you know, can
Let me be me.
Can I just not eat drinks anymore at the party? Like, you don't know what to do with your hands. Like, I don't know what to do with mine. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I used to bring a Prosecco and the 6-pack to a party, but I'm 40 now. I'm an adult, right. I guess, finally. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, it's a great question to be like, why is eating sugar and flour and drinking excessive amount of alcohol normal? Mm-hmm. I mean, like everybody finally got on board about smoking, you know, in restaurants and workplaces and planes, and, you know, nobody does it anymore because they're just like, oh my gosh, like it kills you.
Right.
And you know what? There's plenty of research. It's not just me talking about this stuff. Y'all know this. There's plenty of research out there saying sugar and flour and alcohol, they're killing us too. But it's okay. Go ahead and eat as much as you can of it, and make sure that you're drinking 4 margaritas at Taco Tuesday. Just saying.
And 8 ounces of water will wash it all away.
Oh yeah, just drink a little water. Don't even filter it out. Just wash it down. No, like that's just, bless our hearts. Right. I mean,
yeah.
So,
and it's interesting, you know, when we know, because like you said, Angela, there's all this research out there that how the body functions at its highest level. And knowing that this body we have always is working its hardest every single day, every single moment of our life to create this best possible version of how we operate.
Yeah.
And we're working against ourselves. I mean, the body's not telling us to go eat sugar. We're making that unconscious decision to, go to what the default is and think it's the normal, right? Like you said, we see others, but then it's like, we can play that safe card of it's normal, so then it's not a big deal, right? Versus taking a bold step to do something different that doesn't necessarily feel right, or it might not be well received within our community or people that we are around, and that's tough. I mean, Angela was sharing that earlier about just the difficulties when you're making these changes in your life that kind of go against the grain of what you're used to experiencing. You get that resistance, but I guarantee you there's a part of each one of those individuals that want what you have. They just don't realize it yet. And that's how we hold space for others to potentially step into that in their future. And you the listener, what things are you doing in your life that are more natural, that can actually create more of that flow in your life? Again, that could be a whole gambit of things. It's not just about eating, it's about your communications, how you put yourself out there, you're in your profession, are you putting yourself out there in a natural way where you don't have to doll yourself up or say something or do something and looking for that gratification or acceptance from others. It's that willingness to look inward and know that each one of us are exactly who we need to be, and a beautiful soul at our essence, and move away from in our life from there, knowing that we have nothing to prove. We have we have this full body that supports this natural process to keep us alive, and why not support that the best possible way we can to really give ourselves the best chance to living the life that we want to live. And for me, again, and I'll speak this in closing, me kind of connecting to that energy that's within me, that I'm taking some unnatural approaches to trying to resolve pain that I've had from over the years, and I need to continue to move in the direction of the natural approach and looking at what's the root of it, and never giving up on what might be that aha, that's what it was. I'm never going to give up the hope and the vision and the drive to find that, because if not, then I'm just pushing the easy button, and I'm not willing to really do the hard work it takes to be open to what's possible out there. So I'm interested in, Angela, as you're kind of moving through this conversation, where you're at in your life, what might be the best piece of advice that you give to somebody you just come in contact with that may be struggling in a similar way as you have, to that first step that's going to be a scary step that would take? What might you tell that individual to take that action?
I mean, that's a great question. I think that the very first thing that I would say would be to just take action, even if it's small. Like, just take action toward, taking control of your health, and start small if you need to. But I don't want people to look back knowing that they never tried.
Yeah, I love that.
And
I think we lost Ced here for a bit, so don't worry, listeners. He's just here in technology world. There's times where, because I know during at times we kind of freeze and we don't know what's going on. So that's technology. So apologize in advance for any kind of, as you watch this or listen to this, anything that may have come up. But that's life, right? I think that's for us, and for me, it's like that's the journey, right? It's like when something goes against what we're ready for, like Angela went through this experience, how do we react to it? Do I, like, as I'm speaking to you, listening to myself talk, and then the computer stops, do I then just close my computer and say, oh, we made a mistake, listeners not gonna want to listen in? We have to continue on. We have to just assume that it's just about us continuing our journey and putting ourselves out there and doing all these things that keep us moving forward. What's up, Ced? You're back.
What's happening? Man, because I'm mobile today and my phone overheated, actually. I'm
Oh,
stuff.
so we were just saying our goodbyes. I was going to give Angela kind of at the very end, but I just want to appreciate you again for connecting with me and Angela here on a Sunday afternoon in your life. I know you got a busy schedule, so truly appreciate everything you've done for us as a partnership in this broadcast. And any closing comments for you?
I just appreciate again the opportunity, and I love good conversations with y'all, and it's just great to see y'all on a Sunday. So
Nice. Ced, how about you?
Oh, man. Good being here with all of y'all listening in. Ron, always, every time we connect. Angela. With you. Like, man, I'm like the Monday movements, all of that. Like, y'all don't have no idea how big of an inspiration this lady is,
Aww.
man. It's like kind of cool to be here. You know, it's like not even auntie, it's like sister Ange, you know, like our cousin.
That's right. That's right.
So it's always a pleasure, man. If I had anything to close out with, think about what you consider normal and reconsider it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to change it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And Angela, I got something to ask you, though. I ask everybody.
Yeah, totally.
So, space not an issue. What would it read on your tombstone? How would you be remembered?
What's coming to me is she never gave up.
I love it. She never gave up. There you have it.
Yeah.
Never give up. I love it.
That felt very natural. So thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah, no, thanks. That's what came to me.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's ever really expecting it. Then it's like, oh, I never thought about that.
So.
All right. Well, enjoy the balance of your day and good connecting with the two of you.
Yes. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day as well. This was awesome.
And take care. Yeah. And all of you listeners out there, appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes. Thank you.
Namaste.
Bye.